Hello, hello, I'm the official name raider. My job is to look through the first page of Google, review the nicknames provided by the internet, and then give my recommendations at the end. Today, we're probably still going to have a little bit of complications thanks to Pokemon Go and links that I've already clicked on, but we're going to give it the best I can do for Glaceon as well. And here is the full list of, what you can name your Eevee into for Pokemon Go. I was wrong. Sakura's Espeon and Tamao is Umbreon. I got that mixed up. This is also another trainer for which you can get your Eevee Crystal, which is a thing. I do hope that if they add a nickname trick for Sylveon, they name it after the Fairy Gym leader, because that would be perfect, and if they don't do that, they're stupid and I'm better than them! Valerie. There, they gotta name her Valerie. Okay, let's go through a few of these real quick. So firstly, clarity and rarity. They rhyme. They also work both Binding of Isaac Bayonetta style, where it's just kind of a simple word and it just sounds nice. So if you want to do that, that's fine. I'm personally not crazy about either one, but I don't really think either one is bad either. Between the two, I like rarity a little bit better. I also saw Woomy and I was like, what if this was made before Splatoon? No, it wasn't. But that also ends with Y. Oh, and then I guess Elsa, because I know that one's on the spreadsheet, and we see that a fair bit for Ice-type Pokemon. If you want to, just know that Eevees are 87% male, so if you care about the whole gender thing, you're gonna have a hard time. Tundra, we see this a bunch of times for Ice-type Pokemon, generic Ice-type nickname thrown on everyone. I believe the last time we saw it was just Obama Snow. Pluto, yet again, bringing back the one thematic somebody came up with where they named all the evolutions after the planets. I fully support that. I don't remember what they used for Glaceon. I don't think they used Pluto, but Pluto, in my opinion, is probably the best choice for it, because I feel like if you're going to do it, like, Glaceon would be Pluto and Neptune would be Vaporeon. Also fitting because mythology. And Pluto's the coldest, so I don't know. It just makes sense to me. Frostbite, we see this all the time as well, usually for ice types. Again, my stance is if it's a bitey Pokemon, then it's a better idea, but as far as I know, there's not any true ice type bitey Pokemon, so it's a little bit lost, but I mean, there are Pokemon that can learn Ice Fang. I don't know if Glaceon can learn Ice Fang off the top of my head. I imagine the answer is no. And even if it could, you'd be wasting that giant special attack stat Glaceon's got. Fuck what people say about Leafeon and Glaceon, they're actually really good Pokemon. So just like with Leafeon, I'm also guilty of using a name that I think is pretty crap for Glaceon as well. And this is again a thing where it's like, I hope to change it one day and get a better suited nickname for a Pokemon that I think is actually good. So I do have Frost, again, Mortal Kombat, and I do stand by the idea that Killer Frost is a much better name. I personally am not big into DC, and I know basically nothing about Killer Frost other than her appearance inside of the Injustice games, and I believe she's supposed to be a bad guy to the Flash. That's all I know. So, like, the name's awesome, and I think it's better than just regular Frost and stands out more, but I don't know anything about her, so that's basically it. Maybe I might use it, but for now, I'd still like something much, much better. Also, I guess we'll just acknowledge Winter for being passable as well. I'm actually not sure how many times or if we've seen Snow White before. I feel like the answer is no, but I feel like there's probably been a case or two where maybe we have, and I think I'm okay with it. So for instance, you get your whole stupid little Snow nickname that you want, and also it's a reference to Snow White, and just, I don't know. It's self-explanatory, but I like that better than just, oh look, snow, snowy, or some shit like that. Like, it feels more complete, so I'm alright with that, actually. Jack Frost is basically in the exact same vein as Snow White. I like it, I'm fine with it as a nickname. We've seen it plenty of times before, I don't really have a problem with it. There you go. Coldplay I'll acknowledge as well. This was the best choice I felt for the Dugong line. Also references the band. I still think it works best for Dugong and Seal because it reflects its playful nature. But if you wanted to use that for other ice types, you technically can. No one's stopping you. Going over Sub-Zero again, we see this frequently. I have no problem with it. It's a good nickname. I just don't feel like there's any Pokemon out there that matches Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat. This time he was on the first page Google, so we didn't get to miss out on him or have to go search for him, and he's got a lot of suggestions. A lot of them are bad. Glacier's very, very basic, very, very uninspired, very, very uninteresting. Freezer is basically kind of on the same wavelength as Rainer, where it's very stupid and boring, and I wouldn't use it. And even the people in the anime didn't use it, so there you go. Frostbite's fine, Flake Storm is dumb. Frozen, his description is dumb. Frozen itself, just don't really care for it. Haley, I see this frequently, and to me it's just like, I get it, you're trying to make a joke, but like, you might as well just call the thing Sandra or Deborah at that point. It doesn't make any fucking difference. And I don't feel like going over the rest, because they're all bad, so there you go. Okay, normally I would have skipped over this, but I had like a small little flashback, if you will. I remember, I think it was in Harry Potter 3 and 4 for the Game Boy Advance. You have an ice spell. I think it's called Glaceon. I don't remember the name completely, but I think that was the name. Would I use it as a nickname? No, but this does still bring in the subject, and I've seen other comments like this as well, and we've stumbled across ideas like this before. If you can think of something like an attack or a spell or something like that from an RPG that you think sounds good and could work as a nickname, that is a different direction you could go in. I've seen people talk about things from Final Fantasy that they think work, so just another idea for you to think about if you have a specific RPG that you're in love with and you think you might be able to use an attack as a nickname. Okay, going into this one, since, I mean, I've seen it, and I've seen little things that are close to it, but not quite. On the spreadsheet, another thematic somebody else came up with was naming the evolutions after gemstones. I believe the one for Glaceon was supposed to be diamond. So, like, topaz for Jolteon, jade or emerald for Leafeon, so on and so on and so forth, like that. And I think that's a cool thematic, and I did just say in the last episode with Leafeon that I think that the names become so special because of the thematic. By themselves, they're not as good, but when together, something that could be seen as boring comes off as more special or stronger. So I love that thematic. That and the planets are still my two favorite ideas for the evolution line. I'll acknowledge Alaska because Alaska is a name I use. I use that for my Alolan Ninetales. We've seen that in the past before. I'm totally fine with location-based nicknames. I do question some of these people putting Azula, known for firebending, and then Argentina, which, I mean, it snows in Argentina, sure, but I don't think it's necessarily known for being a freezing place of hell. Frozone, seen this plenty of times before as well. If you want to, that's cool. I'm personally not interested in the name enough to use it, but I totally get it and understand, and you could throw it onto whatever ice type you want to. Okay, so we did reach the bottom of Google. I went to the second page just to see, and it was basically entirely Pokemon Go. But honestly, I think even with just the first page by itself, we got a full episode. There was plenty of links and stuff to talk about. So we weren't short on things. There was actually very little Pokemon Go on the first page. I guess this kind of shows that maybe Glaceon's a little bit more popular than Leafeon or something, which, by the way, I did mean to say this, I think those names are so fucking stupid. I love them as Pokemon, but when you compare it to the idea of, like, Water Vapor or ESP, for fucking clever name for Psychic, it just feels like it falls short, where they're like, well, what do we call the grass-type Eevee? And then you look outside and you're like, that Leaf! Name it Leaf! It just feels so fucking stupid. Like, I really feel like they could have came up with better names for these guys. Anyway, spreadsheet. Aquamarine, Opal, Sapphire. Other options for the gemstones. That's basically it, really. So, I do think we stumbled across quite a bit. A lot were generic ice-type nicknames you could throw onto anyone. I didn't write anything down because I didn't feel like anything jumped out at me as a one-of-a-kind Glaceon nickname that I fell in love with. But again, my favorite ideas still are the planets and the gemstones. I think those are the two strongest. And I was thinking about this a little bit too. It'd be a little bit difficult, but like, what if I tried building a thematic around one of my ideas? My personal favorite is my Flareon named Varia, after the Varia suit from the Metroid series. So what if I tried thinking of different characters or something along those lines, something Metroid related, to build a thematic around the evolutions for? You could do this for any sort of idea you wanted to, like if you wanted to do Zelda bosses or something like that, that'd be a cool idea for a thematic for the evolutions as well. Because there's so many of them and they're so different and spread out, you can do stuff like this. Like, oh, I really kind of started thinking about the idea of naming them after like the songs from Ocarina of Time. Like Umbreon could be Nocturne, and Vaporeon could be Serenade, Minuet for Leafeon. Like you're gonna run out, but like I don't know, just the idea of that. Like what I'm trying to say is think about a thematic if you think it'll work, and you might be able to apply it to the entire evolution line, because that's something I kind of wanted to do. Like a good example, I guess, for Glaceon could be Sheegoth, for after the Metroid enemies from Prime. Sheegoth is a name I've kind of been stuck on, and I haven't had a home yet, but it's an idea. That's just my takeaway. Just try and think of something if you have an idea, and try and see if you can build a thematic. Submit any and all thematics you have, and then just any other Glaceon-based nicknames you have and you have used. Give a thumbs up to the ones that you think are good. We want the good ones to get the praise they deserve. People work hard for their nicknames. Other words, I'll see you in like a year when we finish off the evolutions and we finally talk about Sylveon.